gadantina sagira purayoshita nirikshanena bhinandan sasmitena yayo hari. Evam vidha gadantina sagira purayoshita nirikshanena bhinandan sasmitena yayo hari. Evam vidha gadantina sagira purayoshita nirikshanena bhinandan sasmitena yayo hari. Evam vidha gadantina sagira purayoshita nirakshanena bhinandan sasmitena yayo hari. Evam vidha gadantina sagira purayoshita nirikshanena bhinandan sasmitena yayo hari. Sagira purayoshita nirikshanena bhinandan sasmitena yayo hari. Evam vidha, in this way, gadantina, thus praying and talking about him. Saha, he the Lord. Giraha, of words. Purayoshitam, of the ladies of the capital. Nirikshanena, by his grace of glancing over them. Abhinandan, and greeting them. Sasmitena, with a smiling face. Yayayu, departed. Harihi, the personality of Godhead. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When the ladies of the capital, Hastinapur, were greeting him and talking in this way, the Lord, smiling, accepted their good greetings, and casting the grace of his glance over them, he departed from the city. Translation with repetition. While the ladies of the capital, Hastinapura, were greeting him and talking in this way, the Lord, smiling, accepted their good greetings, and casting the grace of his glance over them, he departed from the city. So, there's another verse, but we'll just stop and we'll meditate on this particular verse because it doesn't have a purport I was thinking of doing. But Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this is the verse which is spoken after the prayers being offered by the Purastris, the wives of the devotees in Hastinapur from the roof terrace Those wonderful prayers which we have been seeing, and as Bhagavatam mentions, these are far more glorified than even the Vedic hymns chanted by qualified Brahmanas, because it is filled with meaning, emotions, and depth of spiritual understanding. They may not be very qualified externally, but they are very advanced internally. So the war is over, peace has returned, Krishna has fulfilled every purpose. He protected the righteous, re-established dharma, comforted his devotees. Now he prepares to leave for Dwaraka. The chariots are ready, the conches have been blown, the streets it is filled with citizens, the ladies on the rooftops, their eyes glistened with tears, but they don't want to show. They're having this talks amongst themselves, which is glorified in Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is very unusual. Mahabharata has got so many episodes, it could have been spoken, but it actually gets the essence. Some killing, protection of Parikshit in the womb of Uttara, being shot by the son of Drona punished, the chapter name. This departure of Krishna, Kunti's prayers. But these are the essence of the Vedic scriptures which are given in Bhagavatam. Very selected things. Bhisma's passing. Because these things highlight something which is very, very powerful. The subtle nuances of how do we practice devotion in our life. So the spiritual is so advanced, though they may be confined within the houses, homes, but their hearts were liberated because of the love for the Lord. So they saw Krishna living, and they have offered some wonderful prayers, and we are seeing this. Evam vidha gadantinam sa gira purayoshitam nirikshanena abhinandan sasmitena yayauhari. Gira is to speak. Evam vidha, thus, gadantinam. In this way, gadantinam, Prabhupada is saying, praying and talking about him. So when these ladies were talking and glorifying and praying about Krishna, evam vidha gadantinam, sa gira purayoshitam. Gira, these words when they were using, purayoshitam, the ladies of the capital, Hastinapur. Purayoshitam, nirikshanena abhinandan. The Lord glanced at them. Lord looked at them. The look of the Lord. Nirikshanena abhinandan. And just looked at them. How did he greet them? Just by looking? No. Sasmitena yayauhari. Sasmitena. With his beautiful smile. Sasmitena yayau. Yayau is to depart. The Lord is living. The scene is very powerful. The Lord is looking, is giving a glance at them. Nirikshanena abhinandan. Those beautiful prayers he heard. Sasmitena yayauhari. And with a beautiful smile, the Lord is living from Dwaraka. The translation is, while the ladies of the capital were greeting him, Abhinandan, Pura Yoshitam, Yoshitam are the ladies of Hastinapur, Abhinandan, when they were greeting the Lord and talking in this way, Giraha, Evam Vidha Sagiraha, the Lord smiling, Sasmitena, accepted their good greetings and casting the grace of his glance over them, Nirikshanena. Nirikshanena, he departed from the city. Yayau Hari. Lord departed from the city. So we will talk about the importance of Lord's glance and smile. There are many powerful instances which are given in Bhagavatam. I will pick a few and talk about this. What is the significance of this? How powerful it is. So the first verse that I will speak is from the third canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, 28th chapter, 31st verse. If you want, you can repeat. If not, it's also fine. Tasyavalokam adhikam kripayati ghora tapatrayopasamanaya nishrishtamakshno Snigdha smitanugunitam vipula prasadam Dhyayech chiram vipula bhavanaya guhayam. Very, very powerful verse, very powerful verse. This is spoken by Kapila Muni to Mother Devahuti. Tasyavalokam adhikam kripayati ghora. When the Lord's glance, tasyavalokam adhikam kripayati ghora. Atighora tapatrayo pasamanaya nishrishtam akshno. When the Lord is casting his glance, actually the word that we use, we don't say that I'm just going to see the Lord. We say that we are here to have the darshan of the Lord. Darshan means when we are looking at the deities are also casting their glance on us. And what happens when the Lord is casting his glance? Tasyavalokam adhikam kripayati ghora tapatrayopasamanaya nishrishtam aksno. Tapatraya, ati ghora, terrible material sufferings because of this tritapa which we are going through. Upasamanaya is soothing. You may have so many miseries, so many problems, challenges, difficulties, but you stand before the deity and look at the merciful glance that he is keeping on you. That merciful glance soothes, it relieves, alleviates all the miseries. Tasyavalokam adhikam kripayati ghora tapatrayopasamanaya nishrishtam akshno snigdha smitanugunitam vipula prasadam. Snigdha, loving. Snigdha smita, the smile of the Lord. Snigdha smitanugunitam vipula prasadam. Lord wants to shower his mercy. And the highest, what is the biggest accomplishment, or how do you know that the Lord's mercy is falling on you? This question will be answered in Bhagavatam in one place, we will see this. But here it is mentioned, Snigdha smitanu gunitam vipula prasadam. The Lord wants to shower his mercy. When he wants to shower his mercy, he is giving a loving smile. Snigdha smitanu gunitam, smita anugunitam, accompanied by vipula prasadam. Dhyayet chiram vipula bhavanaya guhayam. Guhayam is our heart. Dhyayet, we've been reading this verse of Bhagavatam in our Kartik meditation of remembrance. Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishwara Hari Shrotavya Kirtitavya Smartavya Chaichatabhaya. So this instruction is applicable for the yogis, and it is meant for him to do meditation. Dhyayet. Dhyayet chiram. For a long time one should meditate. Dhyayet chiram vipula bhavanaya guhayam. Vipula bhavanaya. Not some artificially, mechanically. Vipula bhavanaya. Vipula is what is abundantly or something Prabhupada writes. Vipula abundant, but here Vipula is full, with full devotion. One should meditate on this. The yogi should contemplate with full devotion. The word bhava, bhavanaya also is used in the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita when Krishna speaks about aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. So the yogi should contemplate with full devotion the compassionate glances frequently cast by the Lord's eyes, for they soothe the most fearful threefold agonies of his devotees. His glances, accompanied by loving smiles, are full of abundant grace. A very small purport, but very powerful purport. And let's read this. As long as one is in conditioned life in the material body, it is natural that he will suffer from anxieties and agonies. One cannot avoid the influence of material energy, even when one is on the transcendental plane. Sometimes disturbances come, but the agonies and anxieties of the devotees are at once mitigated when they think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his beautiful form or the smiling face of the Lord. The Lord bestows innumerable favors upon his devotee, and the greatest manifestation of his grace is his smiling face. The greatest manifestation of his grace is his smiling face, which is full of compassion for his pure devotees. Beautiful purport, actually. So Prabhupada is saying, as long as one is in the conditional life in the material body, it is natural that he will suffer from anxieties and agonies. Actually, it is a grace of the Lord if one can realize that there are evils of our existence in this material world, which is in the form of Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. Right? That's why Krishna lists them in the 13th chapter in items of knowledge. Somebody who's able to see these evils is considered to be a man of higher intelligence. Lochandas Thakur, in his beautiful song that he sings, he puts it very nicely. Ar kabe nitai chandera karuna hoive, samsara vasana more kavatuchha have. Ar kabe nitai chandera karuna hoive, samsara vasana more kavatuchha have. People are madly engrossed in samsara vasana. Only if there is a mercy of the Lord that one realizes this material world is temporary, full of miseries. Only the mercy of the Lord, if it is there. He comes to this understanding. Ar kave nitai chandera karuna hoive, samsara vasana mora kave tuchha have. Then he comes to this understanding that I am Brahman, I am indestructible, I have got nothing to do with this material world. That feeling itself can give us a lot of happiness. That this material body is not me. Aham Brahmasmi. But is that enough? That is just the beginning. It's just the beginning of realization of transcendental bliss. You want to know more? You want to understand what else you can experience? How you can experience more happiness, more transcendental bliss? Then the next stage of realization is to meditate on the Lord who is there in the heart as Paramatma. In Bhagavad Gita, if you read this, in 3 verses, Krishna very nicely talks about what is the experience of this happiness in the heart, happiness of meditating the Lord in the heart. It comes in the 6th chapter. The 3 verses are 26, 27 and 28. In the 26th verse, Krishna is telling, Yato yato nischalati manas chanchalam asthiram tatas tato nyaimaitad atmani eva basamnayat. We've been talking about chanting, we've been talking about hearing, we've been talking about remembering, right? How was your chanting? Those of you who were there yesterday, and I told about sleeping and getting up in the morning and hearing each word. It's not about chanting, it's about how many words we are hearing, right? So, yato yato nischalati manas chanchalam asthiram. Whenever we are chanting, whenever we are trying to meditate on the Lord, the mind goes. Yato yato nischalati manas chanchalam asthiram. The nature of the mind is chanchalam and asthiram, flickering, unsteady, can't even sit even in one place. You have to go. Mind is saying, no, go and sleep. Do something else. Chanting is so powerful, so important, yet we are not able to do. So should we allow it like that? No. Tatos tata nyaimaitad. Then by regulation one has to bring it back. Tatos tata nyaimaitad atmani eva basamnayat. And bring it back like atmani eva basonayat, atmani eva basamnayat. Either you take the help of the super soul or use your intelligence to bring the mind back into control. The word used is niyama. Tatas tato niyamaitat. You can't allow it to go. Prabhupada explains this in one place, I think in the lecture or somewhere, where he's mentioning, imagine if you are going in one side, especially when we are going to Cambridge or to pick up someone, it's a peak traffic time. And you see that there are a lot of cars which are piled up. And you see the other side, it's completely empty. Just because it is empty, can you jump to that other side and start driving? It happens in India. You can't do it here. And of course in India also we shouldn't. But just because it is available, I can't go. Niyamaitad. Moment the mind goes, you have to pull it back. What happens if somebody pulls back the mind? Prasanta manasam hienam. Prasanta manasam. Mind becomes pacified. There is no way to pacify this mind, which is anyway chanchalam and asthiram, unless we use the regulation. Prasanta manasam hyenam yoginam sukham uttamam. And the yogi experiences uttama sukham. Uttama sukham is transcendental bliss. It's not some material happiness. Uttama sukham. Yoginam sukham uttamam. Upaiti santa rajasam. Upaiti santa rajasam. Upaiti, it becomes pacified. Rajasam, this agitation which is produced by the mode of passion, santa. Upaiti santa rajasam. Brahma bhutam akalmasham. Brahma bhutam akalmasham. So when we meditate on the Supreme Lord, akalmasham, we become free from the impurities. Brahmas, yoginam sukham uttamam. Uttama sukham one can experience. Upaiti santa rajasam. And the mind which is flickering, rajasam, which is because of the passion. यहाँ जाना है, वहाँ जाना है, इधर देखना है, फोन देखना है, उसको देखना है, क्या करना है? Upahiti santa rajasam. Without that, you can never experience prasanta. Prasanta manasahihenam. And without being prasanta, forget about experiencing this happiness. And in the next verse, Krishna mentions, Yunjan evam sadatmanam yogi bigata kalmasaha sukhena brahma samsparsham. This word brahma samsparsham. Sukhena brahma samsparsham. Atyantam sukhamasnute. So, Yunjan evam sadatmanam yogi bigata kalmasha. When the kalmashas are gone, you actually experience Brahma sparsha. The spiritual sound is touching. Yoginam Brahma sukhena Brahma samsparsham atyantam sukhamashnate. And transcendental happiness is experienced. This is the next state of this is the higher state of realization. So the first is grossly someone is madly engrossed in samsara. He comes to, if there is a mercy of the Lord, then he understands that this is all, this is dukkhalayam asasvatam and aham brahmasmi. But even more merciful is that person who gets the experience of Brahma Saukyam, Tvanantam. The third most important thing, which the other day I was talking about when we were talking about Gopastami, the verse which Sukadev Goswami says in Bhagavatam, Aho bhagyam, Nanda Gopa Brajokasham, Yan Mitram Paramanandam, Purnam Brahma Sanatanam. That Purnam Brahma, whose I am Brahmasmi, is a realization that I am not this body, but higher realization is the Paramatma. But that Purna Brahma is available as a person, and you can play with him. Yan Mitram Paramanandam. Aho bhagyam. Oh, what great fortune, what great fortune. Nanda Gopa Brajokasham. This Nanda Gopa, the cowherd boys and Nanda Gopa, what fortune they have got. Yan Mitram Paraman, whose Mitra, whose friend is Paramanandam. You can have personal association by engaging in devotional service. That's the highest experience of happiness. Purnam Brahma Sanatanam. In this purport, there are many other things which Prabhupada is mentioning. One of them is sometimes disturbances come, but the agonies and anxieties of the devotees are at once mitigated when they think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His merciful form, in His beautiful form, or smiling face of the Lord. So this particular thing, we have to remember, even if a person is in the spiritual platform, there will be miseries, there will be difficulties. But just because he is fixed on that spiritual platform, by looking at the beautiful face of the Lord, by just having the darshan of the Lord, looking at His beautiful smile, everything gets mitigated. This point I'll come back to it a little later. There is another beautiful thing which happens when somebody sees or the glance of the Lord, what it does. It is given in the context when Brahma stole the cows and the calves and the cowherd boys, and he wanted to see what Krishna is doing without his friends, without his cows and calves, and he comes back. And he sees this, and this is Bhagavatam mentioned, and Prabhupada's purport is beautiful. Chandrika Vishada Smirehi Saruna Panga Vikshitaihi Swakararthanam Ivarajaha Satvabhyam Shrishtir Palakaha. The translation is, those Vishnu forms, by their pure smiling, which resembled the increasing light of the moon and by the sidelong glances of their reddish eyes, created and protected the desires of their own devotees, as if by the modes of passion and goodness. And Prabhupada gives a very beautiful purport. So, you see, the smile and the glance of the Lord, the glance of the Lord and the smile of the Lord, they did two things. Created and protected the desires of their own devotees. The desire to engage in devotional service comes by looking at the face of the Lord. I want to serve Him. Prabhupada beautifully mentions actually in the purport, their smiles resembled the mode of goodness, protecting all the desires of the devotees, and glancing of their eyes resembled the mode of passion. Actually, in this verse, the word Raja means not passion, but affection. In the material world, Rajaguna is passion, but in the spiritual world, it is affection. In the material world, affection is contaminated by Rajaguna and Tamaguna, but in the Suddha Sattva, the affection that maintains the devotee is transcendental. So it is very, very important to know that the people or the devotees who are eager to engage in devotional service of the Lord gives them the inspiration to serve by His loving glance and constantly nourishes that desire by His loving smile to nicely execute the service. Actually, I don't know how many of you know this, the deity of Radharaman. The Radharaman deity has many unique things. It is made up of saligram, it's a naturally manifested deity. And they say it has got the beauty of Gopinath, Madan Mohan and Govinda all put together in one deity. That Radharaman deity, sometimes you see the tooth, the teeth of the Lord. Not always. And they say, when do you see that? Is there a time when you see that? Purnima, Kartik Purnima, Amavasya, Janmashtami. When the deity becomes pleased by the service of his devotees. It just happens. So, it's saying that for those who are eager to engage in, the Lord gives them the inspiration to serve and constantly nourishes that desire by His loving smile. And so, we face so many challenges. If you want to engage in devotional service, so many obstacles can come. Our own mind, our own body, our relatives, our friends, so many problems. But you just come and stand before the deity and just have the glance of the Lord. So when we even come to the point of when we doubt our own capacity or even the purpose of the desire itself, when down and out in spirits, just look at the beautiful face of the Lord. There's that beautiful song which is composed by by Ballavacharya. It's called the Madhurashtakam. And in that, the first stanza, he writes, Adharam madhuram, badanam madhuram, nayanam madhuram, hasitam madhuram, hridayam madhuram, gamanam madhuram, madhuradhipater akhilam madhuram. Adharam madhuram. The lips of the Lord, beautiful. Madhuram, sweet. Adharam madhuram, badanam madhuram. His body, beautiful body. Adharam madhuram, badanam madhuram. Nayanam madhuram. His eyes glance. Nayanam madhuram. And hasitam madhuram. His smile is enchanting. Hridayam madhuram. Hridayam, his heart is full of compassion. Madhuram, sweetness. Hridayam madhuram. Gamanam madhuram. And his walking, his gait also is very auspicious. What will I talk about that Lord? Madhuradhipater akhilam madhuram. Everything about him is full of sweetness. He's the Lord of sweetness, Emperor of sweetness. As Ballavacharya says. Right? Now, the important thing which in that purport which I was referring to, that even the pure devotees go through these problems. I'll come to that in a minute by the example of Srila Prabhupada. But before that, there is another thing which I wanted to share, which Bhagavatam mentions very interestingly. How many of you have seen this picture of, Krishna playing this flute? Would you have seen this in some places or BBT art? Right? If you see this picture, Krishna is playing his flute, and there is a deer who's coming and just looking at Krishna without even blinking, just looking at him. Or if you see another one here, I found, look at this deer looking at Krishna. So there is a verse which is spoken by, this is also there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visits in Vrindavan, he's remembering this verse from Bhagavatam spoken by the gopis. Very, very beautiful verse, very nice verse. Dhanyasma mudhagatayopi harinya eta yananda nandanamupata vichitra vesham akarnya venuranitam saha krishna sara pujam dadhurvirachitam pranayavalokai dhanyasma mudhagatayopi harinya eta. The gopis are talking among themselves and they're saying, look at the deer, how fortunate this deer is. Dhanyasma mudhagatayo. Even if it is an animal body, but it is far more glorious than us. Dhanyasma mudhagatayo. Dhanyasma mudhagatayopi harinya eta yananda nandanam upata vichitra vesham. So when the deer sees, deer is female, when they see deer, what is the male deer called? Stag, is it? Oh, no. Stag? So the deer, when she is seeing Krishna is passing in the forest, Vichitra Vesham, it's a wonderful dress Krishna is wearing, is attracted. And she's not going alone. She's going with the male deer, stag also. Our fortune, our husbands don't come. They don't have this thing. Look at this deer. He's running. Not just the dress. Akarnya Venuranitam Saha Krishna Sara. And the beautiful flute when Krishna plays. Akarnya, when it falls in the ears of this deer, the deer gets mad. Like Akarnya Venuranitam Saha Krishna Sara. As you all know that, in Nectar of Devotion, when what is his name? Rupa Goswami, when he's mentioning about the different qualities of the Lord, he says there are 4 qualities which are exclusive to Krishna. What are those 4 qualities? Sarvadbhuta Chamatkara Leela Kallola Bharidhi. Sarvadbhuta Chamatkara Leela Kallola Bharidhi. First. Atulya Madhura Prema Mandita Priya Mandalaha. Trijagan Manasa Karsi Murali Kalakujitaha. Asamanordha Rupasri Bisma Pita Charachara. Sarvadbhuta Chamatkara Leela Kallola Bharidhi. The pastimes when the Lord, enacted by Krishna, is Adbhuta, wonderful, Chamatkara, very mesmerizing. Sarvadbhuta Chamatkara Leela Kallola Bharidhi. Is it 1, 2? Kallola Bharidhi. Like in an ocean, as many waves come, that many wonderful pastimes the Lord enacts. Sarvadbhuta Chamatkara Leela Kallola Bharidhi. The first one. Atulya Madhura Prema Mandita Priya Mandalaha. Always surrounded by his loving associates. You won't find a single picture where Krishna is sitting alone and just brooding or thinking, lamenting. Always be surrounded by his loving associates. Atulya Madhura Prema Mandita Priya Mandala. Second. The third. Trijagan Manasa Karsi Murali Kalakujita. Trijagan Manasa Karsi. The whole 3 planetary system, Bhur Bhuva Swa, Trijagan Manasa, the mind gets attracted by Krishna when he plays his flute. Trijagan Manasa Karsi Murali Kalakujita. And Asamanordha Rupasri. The Rupa, the form, the beauty of the Lord is Asamanordha. Nothing can be even compared to, nobody can come equal to, forget about being superior. Asamanordha Rupasri. Bisma Pita Charachara. Whether you are a moving or non-moving, whether you are a river, whether you are a tree, whether you are a mountain, whether you are a human being, you are an animal, everybody gets stunned. Bisma Pita Charachara. So when this deer hears the beautiful flute of Krishna, Akarnya Venu Ranitam Saha Krishna Sara, he also wants to worship. Oh my God, my Lord, he's dressed so nicely and he's coming out. He's playing this flute. What can I do? How can I engage in devotional service? Pujam dadhur virachitam pranayavalokai. So he is looking at Krishna with affection, with love, with devotion. just giving glance, and Krishna is reciprocating, looking at the deer. Ujam dadhur virachitam pranayavalokahi. This is all about the glance and the smile of the Lord. What to speak of the Lord? Even his pure devotees, but their glance. So very powerful. There's a verse in Bhagavatam. Okay, I don't have that verse, interestingly. That verse is in the first canto, 19th chapter. I'll come to that verse in a minute. That verse actually talks about the glance of a pure devotee. The glance of a pure devotee. It's a very beautiful verse. I mean, no, it's worth meditating. I'll get that verse. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So this verse is in the first canto, 19th chapter, 33rd verse. This is mentioned by Parikshit. Yesham samsmaranat pumsam sadhya sudhyanti vaigraha kim punar darshana sparsha pada saucha sanadibhi. Yesham samsmaranat. Just remembrance of yours, O Sukadev Goswami. Yesham samsmaranat, that word we used in the 10th canto of that Bhagavatam. Same word was used. Yesham samsmaranat pumsam, anybody who remembers a pure devotee. Just the remembrance. Sadhya sudhyanti. Sadhya immediately becomes purified. Sadhya sudhyanti vaigraha. Graha, all the households become completely purified. Kim punar darshana sparsha. What to speak about, touching or the darshan of the Lord, of the pure devotee. Pada saucha, washing the feet, saucha sanadivi, and giving a place to sit. Simply by your remembering you, our houses become instantly sanctified. What to speak of seeing you, touching you, washing your holy feet, and offering you a seat in our home. I will conclude with some Prabhupada memories, very shorts, of the devotees recollecting Prabhupada's glance and smile. But I'll keep it for the last section. In between, there is one thing which I wanted to talk, and then we will go to that. Is that even the pure devotees, when they are trying to execute the mission of the Lord, have to go through so many challenges. But yet, how they carry themselves, looking at the glance and the smile of the Lord. Example of that is Srila Prabhupada. In the year 1974, in the month of August, when he was in Vrindavan, his Vyasa Puja celebration was over. The temple was not yet ready. They were living in a very bare, minimal facilities. So many problems there. Construction site, Prabhupada was staying in one room. There were other devotees who were Matajis in one and Prabhujis in one room, and there were so many problems going on. And Prabhupada was, he got malaria at that time. And he was having fever, 104. So Prabhupada used to moan. He was moaning, constantly moaning when people used to go for toilet. Prabhupada was actually sleeping outside in the room because it's very hot. August still in Vrindavan is not pleasant, very hot. There were a lot of mosquitoes, a lot of insects, a lot of varieties of things attacking. Prabhupada's servant, Srutakirti, himself also got malaria. So he was removed and another person came. He also got malaria. Everybody was sick. They recovered, whereas Prabhupada's fever was not going down. And Prabhupada was sleeping outside in one cot and he was moaning, and devotees will be passing by and they'll be seeing Prabhupada was not eating anything. And it was going on like this, and then somebody said, Prabhupada, it's very hard to see your suffering. And Prabhupada says, actually I'm suffering because of the sinful activities of all the leaders of ISKCON. 80% of them are not able to even follow the regulative principles. And then Prabhupada was, so basically if we also, if we are negligent in our following of regulative principles, we're giving pain to Prabhupada. basic minimum one vow we take, chanting 16 rounds and following 4 regulative principles, that also we find it difficult. Prabhupada was experiencing excruciating pain and it was going on for 2 weeks. Prabhupada was not having anything. Actually, in those times, if you see in Vedaves, there is no lecture, there is no correspondence, there is nothing. He was hardly able to speak and the fever was increasing. And suddenly he got to know that the governor of Uttar Pradesh, Akbar Ali Khan, is visiting Vrindavan. So some associate of ISKCON, somebody, a well-wisher, he told Prabhupada this Akbar Ali Khan is coming, and Prabhupada said, I will go personally to welcome him. So devotees said, no, you can't go, Prabhupada. How will you go? You are not in a state, not in a condition that you can do this. But Prabhupada said, no, he's a very important man. I must. Very silently Prabhupada was speaking. And then in those days, another problem was cement was not available for purchasing from the stores. You can't buy cement. Unless the government sanctions, gives some quota, like if they give permission, then only you can buy. So Prabhupada's meeting this Akbar Ali Khan, one of the reasons was Prabhupada wanted to request him to give permission to get some cement for the construction of Krishna Balaram temple. So Prabhupada goes and they brought Prabhupada in a chair when he was coming to the site. They put red carpet, there was a table, and then they brought Prabhupada, lifted in a chair and brought him over there. He was having 104-degree fever. He took half an hour to apply his tilak. And after applying his tilak, his hand was shaking and all. He's asking devotees, did I apply tilak? Have I applied? Because he was not even remembering properly. And Akbar Ali Khan comes and Prabhupada speaks to him. He asked him to speak a few words. He speaks about industrial revolution, something like that. And then after that, Prabhupada speaks and he talks about the importance of Krishna consciousness. He stood up for 10-15 minutes and spoke. And after everything is over, he ate one full plate of prasadam along with him, just to give him company. Prabhupada literally collapsed. Right. Actually, when somebody is in transcendental knowledge, then this kind of external difficulties, disturbances won't affect. Otherwise, simple this thing also can, see, Prabhupada mentions, it is all for the pleasure of Radha Krishna or Krishna Balaram, whoever it is. Then it doesn't matter. So even if we go through these disturbances, difficulties, just remembering the smile of the Lord, just remembering His merciful glance which is casting on us, all these difficulties we can forget. Now the next 5 minutes or so, we will see some memories of Prabhupada's disciples talking about Prabhupada's glance.
Understand what it is to be a soul. We're dancing and suddenly I just got Prabhupada's glance. And this glance showed me myself as a soul. Almost for the first time I actually got to understand what it is to be a soul. But between Prabhupada looking at me and seeing me as a soul, I also got to see all these horrific, awful things that were in my heart.
Is it audible? Shyam, you're able to hear?
We're dancing and suddenly I just got... To me, it was just a different quality. So that when I saw Prabhupada, it was like the books that were the only books that ever really touched me. To this day, I look back and I think I was struggling trying to understand anything. And it was only by the fact that I got Prabhupada's books that Prabhupada directly spoke to me. So it's this mercy.
Okay. He's saying, let me share it through Zoom. And should I get out of this thing? Is it?
And I know, I was at the Kali Yuga dullard, but Prabhupada opened my heart. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyanan Gyanan Shalakaya Chakshu Militan Gyanan Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. I couldn't have seen without Prabhupada. So it's Prabhupada's merciful glance upon me that allowed me to become Krishna conscious, that I appreciate.
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya.
Once upon a time in Calcutta temple, his son came and interested to see him. That time Pisima was there, Bhavatarini. So Prabhupada says, no, I'm busy, I have no time to see them. Then Pisima requested, just have a glance, little guide. So they met Prabhupada, son, that Vrindavan and Mathura Mohan, for time being, little time. Just have darshan and Prabhupada, little talk, that's all, nothing. Anything about family matters. He's very, very determined. Now nothing discussion about family matters. So I have never seen such a, great personality in my life. I have seen, Siddharth Swami Maharaj, Srimad Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, Srila Madhav Maharaj, then Siddhanti Maharaj, and Rishikesh Maharaj, Urlami Maharaj, and Goswami Maharaj. In my lifetime I have seen so many Prabhupada's godbrothers, and particularly I have a very good relationship with Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj and Madhav Maharaj. They are my Shikha Guru. So I have learned, and they used to say that we have so many godbrothers. Only one godbrother fulfilled the desire of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. They admit it. Madhav Maharaj admitted it, and Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj admitted it, that only this godbrother, they used to say Swami Maharaj. Swami Maharaj fulfilled the desire of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. And also Sridhar Maharaj. He admitted that thing. So in that way, Prabhupada is Jagadguru. Jagadguru means who has no attachment for his family, no attachment for any material things, no attachment for fame or money. That is the best quality of Srila Prabhupada.
And his smile, a big smile. And if you ever saw Prabhupada smile, you will understand what I'm saying. When he smiled, it's like I lost track of time, I lost track of place, and it seemed like an eternity, but at the same time, it seemed like a short time. But I felt like the first time you fall in love with a girl, if you multiply that 1,000,000 times, that's what I just felt like. Something overcome me. So Prabhupada got out of the car very gracefully, walked 3 or 4 steps and went into the door. And that's the first time I met him.
Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya.
The last one.
Prabhupada was in Mayapur during the Gopunim festival. If you remember, we used to do parikram going around the altar with Prabhupada, and there was a bell on the left side like that. And Prabhupada would catch the bell and ring it 3 times, and go around like that. And I remember one time Prabhupada took the bell and started to ring 1, 2, 3, and looked behind like that. And then when he looked behind, everyone, Prabhupada was beaming with a big smile, and everyone was started to jump, in ecstasy. I see all those, and I was impressed. I said, you see all those big guys, big GBC, like grown-up men, just jumping like little kids with that smile of Prabhupada. With that smile, he conquered everyone.
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal.
So, this is the effect of the glance of the Lord, the smile of the Lord, how it gives us inspiration and nourishment, how it removes all the threefold miseries in our life, and also the special glance and mercy of a pure devotee of the Lord. These are some of the important things. We'll stop here. Anybody has any question? Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.